Hello and welcome to Ask a Member. This is your chance to learn from and learn about members of the Adrian Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm Ann Hughes, president of the Chamber, and it's my pleasure today to welcome Jerry Ryder. Jerry is the artistic director of the Croswell, located right here in downtown. Welcome, Jerry.
Thank you, Ann. Nice to be here.
Thank you. Jerry, you've been involved in the nonprofit world for a long time. The Croswell isn't your first experience. Can you share a little bit of your background with us?
Well, most immediately before I came to the Croswell, I was at the University of Michigan raising money for their health system. And prior to that, I had a long term at Siena Heights, where I was raising money for various capital projects and, of course, their annual fund operations and that kind of thing, doing grant writing as well. And before that, I actually started at the Croswell. So it was about 11 or 12 years ago that I worked at the Croswell in fundraising.
So you've come full circle.
I have, in a manner of speaking, yes.
And how is the fundraising environment these days?
Well, you know, it's amazing. The Croswell's been doing quite well. It's been tough, that's for sure. You know, the world around us is, it's been tough economically, but this community has really responded to the Croswell in a great way. We actually have increased our number of members over the last couple of years and have seen an overall increase in fundraising each year over the last 3. So we're feeling pretty good.
Oh, that's good. I know you've got a lot of great things coming up.
Yeah, thanks.
You know, one common misconception, I think, when people talk about, you know, they hear you work for a nonprofit, you know, well, it's not a real business. You know, but those of us who work for nonprofits know that if you don't treat it as a real business, there can be disastrous effects.
Sure.
How do you feel? Is the Croswell a business?
Absolutely, it's a business. Our budget is actually almost $1 million annually. We employ on a regular basis, there are 6 full-time staff people, but then over the course of a year, we employ hundreds of directors, choreographers, musicians, all kinds of people that make our shows work, and thereby they are out working professionally through the Croswell and doing other things so that they are stimulating the economy with what they do. We have to watch our expenses and our income just as every other business does. We are, it's not that we haven't recently, unfortunately, it's not that we can't make money, it's that we just record things differently so that in effect, instead of earning a profit for owners, we may have a surplus which can be shared amongst the organization. So, you know, it's kind of a reinvestment opportunity more than making the business owner's income. So that's the only difference between a nonprofit and a for-profit entity.
Yeah, if you don't run it like a business and pay attention to what's coming in and the expenses going out, you can get yourself in real trouble. And,
sure.
And of course, you and I both know Sheila Schwartz really well, and her thing has always been, you know, no money, no mission.
Right.
And raising those dollars and having the resources available for all of your artistic folks and your 6 full-time staff to do their job is extremely important.
It is. It would be amazing to look at. We haven't done this, but if we were to actually charge via our ticket price the actual cost of full operations, if we didn't need to rely on fundraising at all, what kind of ticket price we would have to ask. And it would certainly be significantly more than what we do. The difference in our operations and the maintenance of our building and the production costs and what we actually charge is made up from people who are very generously supporting the Croswell via membership or could be corporate sponsorship or show sponsorship, grants, foundation giving, that sort of thing. We need all of that help in order to really maintain our building, which is, anyone who owns a building or a home or anything else knows it's not easy. It's an expensive endeavor, and we need all the help we can get doing that.
And especially, you know, a historic building like the Croswell.
That's
Tell
right.
us a bit about the Croswell building itself.
Well, the auditorium piece of the Croswell is actually the oldest continuously operating theater in the state of Michigan. We're the 3rd oldest in the country. So nearly 145 years of bringing entertainment and events and being a center for the arts and entertainment right in downtown Adrian. And over the course of that history, it's been a movie theater, it's been a silent movie theater. It almost closed in the late 60s, and the community really rallied around it and said, we feel this is important to us. and it became a producing house at that time, where we now produce plays and musicals all year round. And we've started bringing in single night events, different kinds of things where we don't produce them necessarily, but they come in as professional operations and just spend one night in our building. You know, some of the tribute acts that we've done, and One Man Star Wars, and some other things. And we've got some great things lined up for next year too.
Okay, that's one thing I've noticed since you came back to the Croswell, is that you're doing some different things, both in terms of programming, in terms of fundraising, managing the facility. You now have a liquor license.
We do.
And can sell beer and wine. Is that financially been a good move for you?
It has. Really, part of my charge from the board was to look for new revenue opportunities, and that was one. Our concession stand in general was making, you know, maybe on any given night, we might bring in $7 or $8, maybe $15 at the concession stand. And we now, over the course of a year, will bring in $25,000 to $30,000, which is almost enough to pay a staff person, you know. So it's just created a whole new resource for us. And we needed that. I mean, one thing about the Croswell that has also been my focus in terms of generating additional revenue is, you know, we own this building, and it's really, other than the people that work there, it's the greatest asset that we have. And if we don't keep that building busy, then our opportunities to bring revenue in become limited. So looking for more days of the year that we can have events happening and making those events reasonably priced as much as possible for people, that's been really an important part of our mission over the last few years. So we've gone from maybe 50 days of business to this year, our fiscal year will end at the end of August, 86 days will have been in operation this year. So it's a lot. And in that time, our staff has shrunk by 3 people, so 33%. So we're working pretty hard over there.
What's your ultimate goal for how many days do you want to have something going on?
It's probably somewhere between 75 and 90 on an annual basis. Some years we might push it a little bit more, but then some years we might scale back a little bit more. It really depends on the mix of events that we're doing.
Okay, so you've really met your goal.
Yes, for this year, yep, we sure have, yep.
And you've got a big fundraiser coming up, the great big night
yes.
next week. Tell us about that.
It is great and very big.
Okay.
It's the second year we've done this event, which really is, for us, we consider it really a downtown celebration. We start off, well, it's the kickoff of opening night for our summer season, which for this year will open with Legally Blonde on June 15th. So that night we have a pre-party celebration, and this year it's right at the library, which is going to be just incredible. We've had quite a committee working on decorations and the dinner and bar and all that stuff that'll go along with that at the library. There'll be just a very small live auction that happens there. And then that party ends about 7:30 or 7:45, and we just walk 2 doors down to the Croswell. At 8 o'clock, we'll give Julianne Dolan the Lenawee Arts Award for the year, which is richly deserved, very much so. We're very proud of Julie and all that she's accomplished. So we'll give her that award at 8. And then, of course, Legally Blonde will open immediately after that. And once that show's over, we'll just literally pour out onto the street right here, Maumee Street, and we're going to have quite a party under a tent. We have a DJ, and people will dance, and pretty much until they make us tear the tent down. Last year we had a hard time getting people to leave.
Before people went home last year.
It was very late. It's just a great big party, and the thing is that it's all a fundraiser for the Croswell, and it's our only really major fundraising event for the year. And we really do it so that we can celebrate and do what we do best, which is produce plays and musicals, and then have the community join us for that, whether they want to do the whole thing, which is $100 for the pre-party, the show, and the post-party, or you can do just the show, or the show and the post-party, just depending on how much involvement you want to have.
And there are tickets still available?
There are, yep. We can always squeeze one more in.
You can always squeeze one more in. How do they find the tickets?
Always at croswell.org, or you can call the Croswell at 264-SHOW, which is 7469, or stop in 129 East Maumee. We're there every day, 9 to 5.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
So Legally Blonde, real quick, what else is coming up this summer?
In July, we'll do Les Mis, the student edition, which will include more than 50 students from about 4 or 5 different counties all coming. Actually, Julianne Dolan is directing that. It'll be the first time the Croswell has taken on a show of this type. It's a major, major endeavor. It's a huge set, huge cast, and of course getting all of those students, mostly high school students, but some, I think the youngest is probably about 9, and they're going to perform that now in its 25th year, very classic musical. And then in August we'll open 7 Brides for 7 Brothers, which I have to say is I think more people are looking forward to that show than anything else. It's going to be, the music is wonderful, and it's going to be a dance extravaganza. The woman who's choreographing is doing lots of physical dance. I mean, guys will be tumbling, and most of the dancing is done by men, boys, you know, teens and 20s. I guess they're men. So lots of great big stuff. It's really going to be very, very fun. And then we head right into Artalicious weekend with the Rat Pack Lounge, which will be great fun, including a Friday matinee for that show to support Artalicious. And then the Rocky Horror Show in October and Miracle on 34th Street in December.
You just made the whole year just whiz by.
Yes, it does.
It's all over.
It does sort of whiz by.
But it's exciting, lots to look forward to.
It is. And we will have some other special events that we'll be adding to the schedule in that September through April-ish time frame. So people can look for those announcements. Well, the return of our all-area high school musical and some fun spring things for kids and adults. So we're just about to announce that schedule.
Sounds like a good time at the Croswell.
It is a great time at the Croswell. Yeah, we're working hard, but having a really, really good time.
Good. Well, Jerry, we appreciate you coming today, and remind people there's tickets left for the great big event. And for the other shows coming up this year, you can stop in at 129 East Maumee Street.
We're there.
Go to croswell.org or 264-7469.
Yes, good job.
And log on to get the information and get the tickets. Wonderful entertainment right here in our own community. So we thank Jerry Ryder, and until next time, this has been Ask a Member.